So hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Disney Plus show WandaVision. This is season 1 of the show. As far as I know, it sounds like Marvel might only do one season for the show, and but their efforts obviously go into other shows like Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki, and a couple other things I think they have in mind. But this video here is specifically for WandaVision. It's for season 1. One thing to kind of preface this video with too is I would say make sure you've seen all 9 episodes of WandaVision before watching this video. Not to necessarily say this is going to be spoiler filled, but there's a lot of things in this video that might address certain things where if you haven't seen WandaVision all the way through, I don't want to potentially spoil anything for you, so it's just kind of a preface. So if you've seen WandaVision, seen at least most of it, seen enough of it where maybe you just have maybe 1 or 2 episodes left, perfectly cool. But just to let you know, this is kind of an entire season overview. I'm reviewing the entire season, not just a specific episode. All 9 episodes are reviewed here. Just kind of my overall thoughts of the series and of the show. And yeah, let's get started here. So in WandaVision, you guys, this does take place after Avengers Endgame. It does address kind of where Wanda and Vision were at the end of Avengers Infinity War when we last saw them. We did see Wanda a little bit in Avengers Endgame, but it's mostly about kind of the things that the two of them faced at the end of Avengers Infinity War, with, Vision kind of being taken out by Thanos, and Wanda being in a position where she's not psychologically in a good place. She feels like she might have potentially lost her lover if Vision is truly gone, like what Thanos did to him. And obviously with her helping out in Avengers Endgame after being returned from the snap, that was kind of her opportunity to figure out what exactly was going on with Vision while she was gone. And so while this is happening, we find out right away that they seem to have moved to this small town, and it's in black and white for whatever reason. All the color is basically zapped out of there, and they're living a quote-unquote perfect happy marriage life in a small town here called Westview. And what's kind of interesting too is each episode kind of takes on a different era of television on the episodes that are kind of supposed to be referencing a certain kind of era of television. And basically, throughout the course of the show, they have these weird neighbors. They have one neighbor in particular that really is kind of not there to kind of help. She's more so there to kind of do something bad to them that we'll find out later on with. And there's all these different things like a neighbor sawing a piece of wood, and the wood's not really being cut. It's just kind of them cutting away at it, and it's just kind of, there's things that are surreal and things that clearly are not okay. There's clearly a lot of stuff that is just kind of there to make everything look perfect at first, but there's really something much worse going on beneath the surface. And there's an organization named SWORD that is really trying to get into this town, and we find out reasons why they can't, and why Wanda kind of doesn't want them to be there, and how they eventually kind of help Wanda in a way. So there's all this kind of stuff happening over the course of WandaVision, and we have to figure out what exactly is good for both Wanda and Vision, if staying in this town is really the right idea for them, or if they do eventually find a way to leave Westview, where could they possibly go? What part of the real world would kind of accept them in again, since both of them were kind of rejected at first, with Wanda kind of being in a Sokovian prison for most of her life. And Vision, well, Vision's not really a person, so where would Vision go? And so there's all these questions brought up, and there's all these questions about morals and things like that get asked and answered along the way. And this happens all over the course of the show WandaVision. So overall, guys, I really liked the show a lot. I thought it was very different for Marvel. I liked how it felt different than the Marvel movies. Like I said, I like how they covered certain eras of television and kind of brought humor to it, while also kind of making it uneasy and kind of, you're not really sure what to think of certain things because there's kind of a suspense element to some of it. And it's just very different. I really liked how they really kind of did more with the Vision character and did more with the Wanda character, because yeah, they've played important roles in the Marvel movies so far, in the movies that they've been in, but we really never got a chance to kind of really get to know them and really get to kind of understand their psychology with certain things. And so WandaVision kind of allows us to learn more about what's going on with them psychologically, and kind of where they ended up after Infinity War and Endgame. And we are kind of learning about where they're going with their lives as the big Thanos battle is now done with, and where they're going to go with their lives. And it really is a very interesting show, because it really does kind of tackle all these things in a very interesting way. So like I said, from my positives and negatives for the show, it does celebrate several different eras of television. So for Black and White, it covers the Dick Van Dyke Show and Bewitched, and it eventually goes into color, where it may make fun of the Brady Bunch and All in the Family, and they eventually go into more recent eras of television where they go to cover things like Malcolm in the Middle and Modern Family, and they really kind of make the show feel like they belong from those eras and from those certain parts of television and things like that. One thing that was interesting with the Modern Family one too is they would kind of have little individual interviews on how they feel on certain things, just like how they did in the Modern Family show. And so I thought that was kind of interesting for how they covered the more recent eras of television, back when they were trying to kind of show like modern day sitcoms and things like that. There's also some very good character development here, and like I said, it really does explore the psychology for both Wanda and Vision. Specifically for Wanda in particular, we really do kind of get to find out what exactly is kind of going on with her, and there's kind of questions brought up of, is she really a good person? Is she really a hero of the Avengers like we always thought she was? Or is there a lot of things going on beneath the surface for her where maybe she's not that great of a person to begin with? And so there's questions like that brought up. There's questions where Vision kind of confronts her on certain things and kind of wants to know more of what's going on with her. And we kind of do find out how exactly Vision is still kind of around after what Thanos did to him. So they definitely explore that. They definitely explore kind of where Vision has been since the snap took place, and kind of how he was able to kind of come back in a way for this show and things like that. So really was very well done here. Really like the character development of the show. I also like how the show favors characters over action sequences. The action sequence stuff, I would say, really doesn't come into play until some of the really later episodes, and I'm actually perfectly okay with that. I like a show where I feel invested in the characters. I feel like I understand their psychology and their situation, and really kind of understand where they're at in the real world and how they feel about it, and how going to a place like Westview is kind of an escape for them from feeling a certain way and having to live a certain way. And so I really like how the show really emphasizes that sometimes focusing on your characters and really kind of just letting them express how they feel on certain things can sometimes be more interesting than just putting them in a really cool action sequence, because we really already get a lot of that in the Marvel movies already. So it's kind of cool to take a break from that and really just kind of focus on the characters for a little while. I thought that was very, very important for the show to work, and they really played around with that very well. I also like how the show has the budget and the quality of an MCU film. You can definitely too, they threw a lot of money at this. It really does kind of feel like a 9-episode long Marvel movie. They definitely have a high quality here. If you're worried about this being a TV show and them kind of not giving as much money at it, that's definitely not the case. Whether it was making it look like an older TV show, or really making the action sequences when they happen look really awesome, or making the CGI really believable on certain episodes, I thought all of that was very well done here. So I really liked the budget and the quality of the show being in the vein of a MCU film, the way the show should be. I also like all the many MCU film universe connections that this film has. It really does try to connect kind of all the pieces of, where Wanda and Vision were in Infinity War, where they were in Endgame, where they are now, and where they might go in another MCU film eventually. They really do kind of play out all the possible connections that these characters have, and where they might be going in future MCU films. For my negatives, though, of WandaVision, I thought the episodes that quote-unquote focused on the sword stuff, this organization that's figuring out why they can't get into Westview, and why Wanda's doing all this, and why they're even at one point trying to make her look like a bad guy and things like that. I just really didn't care about that stuff. I also really don't like how the organization's called SWORD. It just kind of felt like we can't use SHIELD, so we'll just call it SWORD, and they'll kind of do things that are SHIELD things, and they'll just kind of show up every once in a while and try to help Wanda understand that this town isn't good to be in and things like that. So I thought when they focused on the sword stuff, I really was kind of taken out of the show a little bit, because I really wanted to kind of focus my attention on both Wanda and Vision. And so when the show kind of dragged us out, plopped us into the sword stuff, I just didn't feel as invested as I did with the Wanda and the Vision stuff. Some of these episodes, too, really are too short. I think there's one episode in particular that was like only 29 minutes long, I want to say, if even that. And I think when you're going to do a Marvel MCU show like this, yes, that's awesome that it's 9 episodes. It's awesome that, if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you basically get all of them, one new episode every Friday. But the problem is because the MCU films are pretty long to begin with, I think if you're going to adjust us to the TV show thing, maybe make them at least 45 minutes an episode. Yes, I know budget and all that other stuff comes into question, but some of these episodes I thought really wanted to expand on some of their ideas. So when it's only 35 minutes or only 29 minutes, and there's a lot of end credits and people who were working on the CGI, which takes up a lot of time in the end credits, that really is kind of too short. And so I feel like if you're going to make us wait weekly for this 9-episode extravaganza, maybe make them at least 45 minutes long each. So hopefully that's what they're going to do with Falcon and Winter Soldier. We'll have to see. I personally thought some of these episodes were too short, so as a result, some of the episode ideas don't feel as expanded and explored as maybe Marvel wanted them to be. But that's just my opinion. So hopefully for next time, hopefully in Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up soon, we are going to get episodes that are closer to the range of 40 to 45 minutes. I think that would help out Marvel and be more true to the fans and be more realistic for the fans as far as tuning in every Friday for a new episode and things like that. But overall, I'm going to give WandaVision a 9.5 out of 10. It really is a very wonderful show. I love all the nods and references and celebration of old TV shows here. I love how they explored the character development and the psychology of both Wanda and Vision here. And we got a 9-episode stretch to kind of explore that. I love the budget and quality of the MCU films in this. But like I said, some of the episodes focusing on the sword stuff, specifically one episode that dedicates a whole episode to it actually, I thought really kind of took me out of the show a little bit. So less time on the sword stuff, I thought. And some of the episodes do feel too short here. So as a result, some of the ideas don't feel as explored as they could be. So 9.5 out of 10 for me. Really highly recommend WandaVision if you haven't checked it out yet. And hopefully Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki are great shows, as well as some other Marvel shows that are coming to Disney Plus soon.